Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna talk about the growth cycles of Catasetum orchids. Or we're gonna talk specifically about the Catasetinae family. And here I have a good example that's in full glory, so I would love to use it, and then we can explore these plants a little bit more because I adore Catasetums and all of the Catasetinae flowers. They are so exquisite, they are exotic, wild, and not only that, but we can grow them indoors as well. So, without further ado, let's start. But before, just to let you know, I'm really sorry that I couldn't record videos last week. I was very ill, I'm still recovering, so that's why my voice is not 100% yet, but it will be soon. But nonetheless, let's start. I'm gonna place it down because it's heavy and it's hanging there, and I'm really scared of breaking this flower spike, but I'll give you a ton of B-rolls so you'll be able to see it even closer to you. So as I mentioned, Catasetum orchids, they have very specific growth states. The one that I'm showing you right now is my Catasetum jumbum pileatum. That is actually in their most active period of growth, or I would say actually going towards the end of the most active period because it's already in bloom. What happened for the plants to become beautifully green like this one with super long leaves and push out a flower spike, they will go through a period of change. This period of change happens when the Catasetum start pushing out a new growth. Catasetum, they are sympodial orchids like Cymbidiums, Cattleyas, and many other orchids. They will have an eye, this eye will swallow and will push out a new growth. This new growth will start very, very tiny without any roots. As the new growth starting to become a little bit more mature, it will push a brand new root system that will feed our plants. It happens as well with other orchids. I'm sure you've seen, if you have other orchids around, if you have dendrobiums, if you have oncidiums, you notice that when we have a new growth, this new growth will push out a brand new root system, and this brand new root system will keep feeding our plant. The Catasetum is the same thing. The difference is this new growth will mature in a very short period of time. Usually in 6 months, they will create not only a brand new root system, but they will push out leaves, super long leaves as well. That will be the only source of food for this plant, let's say, because this plant, this new growth, will have to photosynthesize and feed the whole plant because the older growths already lost their leaves and the roots. For this reason, they not only have a very short period of time that they have to mature this new growth, but this new growth will need a ton of energy to keep feeding the whole plant until this plant is capable of pushing out a flower spike and mature its blooms. And the blooms will be very important because we need the blooms to be pollinated and then to have more orchids spread around. So in terms of evolution, this plant knows that needs all the energy that's able to capt just for this short period of growth. When we're talking about how we grow our orchids indoors or inside our homes or even in our gardens, means that when these plants are actually growing and maturing the new growths, when we have like 10 to 15 centimeters long roots, we need to start offering our plant water and then more and more fertilizer. These plants during their active growth period will need a ton of fertilizer to be able to actually fully mature the leaves, but not only that, have energy to push out the flower spike and the beautiful and super large flowers. It's very important during these 6 months that this plant receives a ton of super bright light. The ones that I have, I'm growing them under growing lights and they are doing super well. So I need to remember to offer them some very specific bright light, growing lights, or direct sunlight so they will be able to push out these growths and grow these leaves. Be careful with midday sunlight, so you will burn the leaves, and if you burn the leaves, they will not be able to grow super healthily either. And also, don't forget to fertilize these plants. It's very, very important. So during this period of time, it's also very important that you keep having air circulating around the roots. Most of these Catasetums are epiphyte plants, so it's important for us to keep their roots hydrated, fertilized, but also with a good balance of air around. They can be moist, but don't keep them soggy all the time, because otherwise you can have root rot as well. Talking about it, remember to pot it up in a mix that will keep humidity, but we will also have some air circulating around. These plants don't grow in soil, so it's really important to have appropriate mix for them. And on top of that, just keep an eye on the mix. Every time it's approaching dryness, offer water. Keep it in an environment with intermediate temperature. They should be fine. Don't offer them frozen temperature or not even like super hot temperature. They will enjoy the intermediate room temperature that we have inside our homes. Talking about it, when we are at the stage that we are now with my Catasetum pileatum, where they push out the flower spike, they will bloom. It's going to be gorgeous. You just have to keep offering some water. The flowers, they don't last very, very long time. I think this one is like 2 weeks, and that's it. The flowers will fade and they will be gone. With the Catasetum pileatum, they don't have a stage where usually they are not growing anything, that they will be completely bare root without any new growth or any growth stage. Usually, they are the type of Catasetums that you keep growing new growths one after another. So after these flowers are gone, it will have a very short period of time where it will be quiet, and then it will start pushing out a new growth. This one has already a new growth sprouting, although it has a flower spike. But generally speaking about Catasetums, and here I have another example. That's my Sick Notes Wine Delight. So this one's a hybrid, and it's not a Catasetum, but it's a Catasetinea. It's from the same family. So this one is in a completely different stage. So what happened with this one is that when it's winter, usually it will shade all of its leaves. So that's the second stage that I was mentioning. So first of all, we had the flower spikes. We have the flowers are gone. Then it will start to shade all of its leaves. You can decrease watering when this happens. So it's going to be cooler, so a little bit drier. You can decrease the watering. What happens is you're going to notice that all the leaves will start to become yellow, and they will fall one after another. That's super normal. It's part of the stage of growth. When this is happening, and as I said, just stop fertilizing and decrease watering. When all of the leaves are gone, which is going to be very soon with this one, you don't need to water your plant anymore. So in this case here specifically, I can unpot my plant, remove it from its pot, cut all of the roots. Yes, that's what I mean, that's correct. You can definitely remove all of the roots and leave it be until it push out a new growth. So until the new growth has like 10 to 15 centimeters long roots, you don't need to worry much about it. You can just keep it completely dry in a place with air circulation and some light. It will be okay. It will survive. It will not do anything for a while. So that's when it is in the rest period. This one is almost there. So when it's resting, just as I said, leave it be. Whatever it is that you keep your Catasetums, it will be fine. And with time, you will notice, I don't think I can see anything in here yet. No. That from this growth here, this bare cane or this bare pseudobulb, you will notice something green is sprouting or something swelling at the base. That means the new growth is coming, is poking through. And that is the perfect time for you to you can repot this plant when you notice the first signs of the new growth. Place it in a new potting mix, leave it there, and only water it when the roots are like, let me show you. It's going to be difficult because I'm filming, but the roots, they need to be able to absorb water. So when you offer these roots a little bit of water, they will become green. Be careful, don't offer too much water in the beginning so you can actually rot these roots. You don't want this to happen. So the new growth will need the new root system to be able to feed them, for them to be able to feed the plant, for the plant to be able to grow healthily. For this reason, wait for it to be like 10 to 15 centimeters, then you offer some water. You start watering slowly. You add a little bit of water here. Notice when the mix is dry and you offer a little bit more water. When you have a grown root system, you notice that your plant's going to be thirstier and thirstier. Then you start offering more and more water. What I do with my Catasetums, that's a chip, I add slow release fertilizer inside the potting mix when I repot them. I add a little bit, I add more beads than I do offer to other orchids, because I know that when these plants, they are in their active period of time, they will need a ton of fertilizer to be able to grow. So it helps me a lot. If you have slow release fertilizer available near you, it can help you to grow this plant even healthier than without slow release fertilizer. So when you have a fully mature growth like this one again, it's time to just keep an eye out and enjoy your flower spike when it comes, because I can definitely say they are a joy to grow and they are so beautiful. I love these flowers. Something else, they are fragrant. I don't like the fragrance very much. For me, it's a bit weird. My nose is it's not working very well right now, but they are not my favorite. Something else is, because these plants, they require the new growth to be fully mature to be able to bloom and rebloom. When they are in their active period, when they are pushing out leaves like this one here, you need to be careful with pests, because if pests attack this growth, you're not going to have a beautiful bloom show, because otherwise this plant's not capable of producing energy to feed itself. Be careful with pests. Treat it as soon as you notice something, because these leaves, they are very thin and pests loves to munch on them. So that's the only disadvantage of Catasetum. And on top of that, when they don't have leaves, they can be very small. But when they push out their leaves, they become super tall plants as well. So keep that in mind when you are looking after your Catasetum plants. And that is everything that I do to keep my Catasetums growing healthily in my collection. As I said, I think they are a joy to grow. I super recommend Catasetum. If you have the space, you have light for it, they would definitely add some charm to your orchid collection. I do believe they are super beautiful, one of the largest flowered orchids that I have in my collection. And on top of that, you can find Catasetums with a wide range of different colors and shapes. So if it is affordable where you live, have a look. I hope you enjoy these beautiful plants as much as I do. Without further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know which type of content would you like to see here, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!